Throughout history, some protests have done more than challenge authority. They have rewritten national identities, expanded human rights, and inspired movements across continents. These are 5 of the most influential protests in modern history, each proving that when ordinary people unite with purpose, the world can shift beneath their feet. 5. The Velvet Revolution, Czechoslovakia, 1989. The Velvet Revolution stands as one of the clearest examples of how peaceful resistance can topple an entrenched authoritarian regime. Sparked by the arrest of student activists in November 1989, the movement quickly grew into a nationwide revolt against 4 decades of communist rule. Millions took to the streets, jingling keys to symbolize the unlocking of freedom. The Civic Forum, led by dissidents such as Václav Havel, unified the protesters' demands and ensured the movement remained nonviolent. Within weeks, the communist government resigned, leading to free elections in 1990. The Velvet Revolution not only restored democracy in Czechoslovakia, but also inspired peaceful uprisings across Eastern Europe. 4. The Stonewall Riots, New York City, 1969. The Stonewall Riots became the spark for the modern LGBTQ+ rights movement. After decades of police harassment and discriminatory laws, the community reached a breaking point when officers raided the Stonewall Inn on June 28, 1969. Instead of scattering, patrons resisted, and the uprising lasted several days. Drag queens, transgender individuals, queer youth, and neighborhood residents joined in, transforming the rebellion into a declaration of dignity. In the months that followed, groups like the Gay Liberation Front formed, and the first Pride March took place a year later. While Stonewall didn't change the law overnight, it permanently shifted public consciousness, turning a marginalized struggle into a global human rights movement. 3. The Soweto Uprising, South Africa, 1976. On June 16, 1976, thousands of black students marched through the streets of Soweto to protest the apartheid government's decision to enforce Afrikaans as a primary language of instruction. For many students, this wasn't just a school policy. It was a symbol of systemic oppression. The peaceful march turned tragic when police opened fire, killing several students. The image of young Hector Peterson being carried through the chaos shocked the world and exposed the brutality of apartheid. The uprising ignited resistance across South Africa and intensified international condemnation. 2. Gandhi's Salt March, India, 1930. Gandhi's Salt March remains one of the most iconic acts of civil disobedience ever recorded. In 1930, the British controlled all salt production and placed heavy taxes on it. Gandhi saw this injustice as the perfect target for a national awakening. Beginning with just 78 followers, he marched 240 miles to the coastal village of Dandi. By the time he arrived, thousands had joined him. When he lifted a handful of salt from the shore, he deliberately broke colonial law, an act that inspired millions. People across India began producing salt, boycotting British goods, refusing taxes, and embracing nonviolent resistance. Although independence came later, the Salt March shifted global opinion, strengthened India's movement, and cemented Satyagraha as a worldwide model for peaceful protest. 1. The March on Washington, United States, 1963. The March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom stands as one of the most influential protests of the 20th century. On August 28, 1963, more than 250,000 people gathered peacefully in the U.S. Capitol to demand equal rights, fair employment, and an end to segregation, making it one of the largest demonstrations in American history. The disciplined unity of the crowd commanded national attention. The event culminated in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legendary "I Have a Dream" speech, a powerful appeal for racial equality that still resonates today. Media coverage amplified the message across the world and helped generate support for the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed segregation and discrimination. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into powerful moments that shaped our world.